What's going on, everybody? I'm enjoying a nice day off and I wanted to bring you with another video here, and I'll show you what I'm having real quick. I am having a nice Lagunitas Hazy Wonder. Excuse my dirty fingernails, I've been out in the garden. But let me know down below what your favorite beer is if you're a beer drinker. I'm definitely a craft beer guy, but I don't discriminate. I'll also have a Mickey's from time to time and other cheapy beers, of course. But let me know what's your all-time favorite beer down below. One of my favorites is Pliny the Elder, Racer 5. I'm definitely a fan of some good craft beers. But let's get into this video. I wanted to go over 3 of my high conviction stocks and just kind of how they perform today, things to look out for, and what the analysts think. Now, if you like these videos, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I definitely appreciate all your support. Check out the links down below for some stocks and cryptos, and check out my YouTube membership. It's only $2. Now let's look at these 3 stocks. I'm going to look at Indi Semiconductor, definitely a high conviction stock for me. I'm also going to look into ChargePoint and Cleanspark, both high conviction stocks as well, but your results may vary. Now let's look at these 3, starting off with Indi. What do the analysts think? Well, we're looking at a 12-month forecast here. This is 1425 is their expectation, representing about a 42.36% upside with 4 buy ratings. And you'll notice a few of these recent buy ratings were just right after their earnings call. And if you're interested in their earnings call, I will leave you a edited, cleaned up version down below for you so you can get all the little bits and pieces, valuable information from their Indi earnings call. And our most recent price target increase was from Deutsche Bank, and they have a price target of $15 from their original $10, maintaining their buy rating. And I did want to pull up the chart for Indi. One thing is, on the day, this only had a negative 1% day. We're going to go into the other stocks and how they performed. Definitely a lot worse today, at least. But I did want to show you that Indi broke this kind of stuck pattern that it's been in ever since roughly January of 2022. So it's been in this sideways trend for about a year. While other stocks have been just in a clear downtrend, this has been pretty much sideways throughout all of this bear market throughout 2022. Now, one thing you'll see is we did break out of this $9 area and we're trying to hold $10 as a support. Definitely looking bullish to me. And one thing you'll also notice here is we do have the 50 to 200 MA cross. And this just happened a few days ago. And I did want to show you that the last time we had a cross, I'll pull this up here, this measurement tool here on TradingView if you're curious. And I will leave you a link down below to TradingView as well. Definitely recommend it. It's free. You can of course get the paid version and then you won't have ads here on the corner. I might be covering up, but if you have the paid version, you won't have ads on the corner and you can see more stocks in one picture. But I'm perfectly fine with the free version and I'm sure you will be as well. I highly recommend TradingView's charts, but you'll see with Indi, once it had its recent 50 to 200 MA cross, besides the one that we just saw here that I just showed you, you'll see that we had a nice performance increase. From that cross all the way to the peak, we did see roughly a 52% gain. Will we see that again? Who knows? Only time will tell, but that's definitely a bullish thing to see that we did have that 50 to 200 cross, and their earnings did come out very well. And like I said, I will leave it down below for you. I really highly recommend you check out their recent earnings call. But moving forwards, as they said in their call, as the quarters progress, we are going to see higher and higher revenue. But their next earnings, and they just reported earnings, so it's going to be quite a while from now, but their next reported earnings, they do expect to see roughly about $40 million in revenue. And that's definitely going to be a very nice increase from the previous quarter. That they did report 33 million, barely beat that revenue, but very nice consistent revenue growth with this company. I absolutely love it. And PS, they did mention that they do expect profitability here by the end of 2023, the back half of 2023. It could be somewhere in summer, it could be somewhere in fall, but we will see profitability on Indi. At least that's the expectation. And next up, let's pull up ChargePoint. This definitely had a quite red day, as did many small caps. One thing you'll see is we did maintain this May 11 low, as I've mentioned before, and it literally just tested it and bounced right off of it. One thing you will see here that's kind of recent is we did break this trend line that I tried to point out to you guys in a previous ChargePoint video, and now we are breaking all 3 of our EMAs. We could definitely see some more downtrend on this one. As we approach earnings is coming out in the beginning of March, and it's definitely going to be a very pivotal point for ChargePoint. Highly suggest you stick around and listen to their earnings call. I will give you guys a reaction to it, and I will of course give you a cleaned up edited version of their earnings call, so you don't have to sit there for an hour and listen to it. It'll be probably about half the amount of time. But one thing to really look out for with ChargePoint is if we do continue to pull back, we need to see these May 11 lows hold up. This is definitely a ways down, and I don't necessarily think we will get down this far, but if we do, if we happen to get this low, watch for that May 11 low, that we don't break it. But I'm of the belief that we've seen as much pain as we're going to see here, and for me, ChargePoint is a clear DCA throughout this year, unless we were to just suddenly blast off to like $25, $30. But I will continue to DCA into this one, and then start considering taking profits along the way up above 20. But let me know your strategy for ChargePoint. Is it a longer hold for you? Is it a short-term swing trade for you? I'd say short-term things don't look amazing. We can definitely pull back. But I do want to show you another potential trend here. We could start trading in this channel. So keep an eye on this ascending support level and see that we don't break it. If we do break this ascending support, we're definitely likely to test some lower levels. So you're just going to want to watch and see kind of how this ascending support trades out. But in my eyes, there could definitely be some uncertainty coming up to earnings. But one thing with ChargePoint is we've seen extremely consistent revenue growth, and we should hear in their call coming up about any kind of words on profitability. I do suspect it's just around the corner. So where are the analysts at for this one? Well, we have 7 ratings, 5 as a buy, 2 as a hold, with a $19 12-month forecast, representing almost a 70% upside. And I just filtered the 4 and 5 star analysts, and they all have pretty lofty price targets. Now, of course, the analysts aren't the end all be all, and you obviously want to do your own research and, see what you really think about this company, because these analysts have been and will be wrong again. And next up, I did want to blast over to CleanSpark. This is one of my all-time favorite stocks. Very long-term mindset on this one, and it is still maintaining this uptrend that I mentioned to you guys before. And one thing we're seeing here is we are seeing the 50 EMA start to curl upwards. However, it does have quite a ways to go before it can potentially cross the 200 EMA. Now, as for the 50 and 200 MA, they are definitely getting closer here, but the 200 is still pointing downwards, is still in a descending trend, while the 50 is rising. And as for the 50, 100, and 200 EMA, we are still riding here on this 50 EMA, also giving us more support along this ascending support line. And of course, it's going to depend on where Bitcoin goes from here, because these are so tied hand to hand. So let's take a look at Bitcoin as well. Now, looking at Bitcoin, it did see a 50 to 200 EMA cross, and that's this cross here, and things have been continuing to look better and better. All we have to do is break this $25,000 area. But one thing I wanted to show you is the last time this crossed. This is a death cross here, but the last time we had a golden cross, which is what we just saw, what I just showed you, let's look at the gain that we saw. So here is where that indicator started, and let's pull her on up. You'll see that we saw roughly a 50% gain after this indicator, after the 50 to 200 EMA cross. And one thing to consider is we haven't seen this cross since August of 2021. It's been quite a long time, and ever since then we've been in a clear downtrend, just having trouble staying above this 200 MA, staying above the 200 EMA as well, and things are starting to shift here. And of course, as you know, with Bitcoin, we are approaching the halving, and there's just so much upward momentum in my eyes with Bitcoin that now is still a great time. Despite it running up a little bit, I think now is a great time to add to Bitcoin and to not be fearful at this little bit of a run up, because there is a lot more to come, in my opinion. I could of course be wrong. I've been wrong quite a many times before. And finally, I did want to pull up CleanSpark's price targets. We do have a 750 12-month forecast representing about 140% upside for buy ratings, although the only thing here is these are all very, very, very low rated analysts, so take that for a grain of salt. But I personally, you can call me a very low, 0-star analyst, but I personally do believe we can see this 750 on CleanSpark well within the 12 months forecast. And honestly, Bitcoin is going up slightly in price, and as I've said in my previous video, I will leave you a link down below for it where I kind of go deeper into CleanSpark. We should be seeing better and better earnings moving forwards from this point, just because of Bitcoin's price running up lately. And I did want to quickly mention to you guys, and I'll zoom into it for you, CleanSpark's next earnings, which is definitely quite a ways away because we just saw our last one, they are expecting right around a $43 million earnings. And as we get our next updates on mining, we should see more and more revenue month over month because of Bitcoin's price. Now, January, we did see a pretty good update. They mined nearly 700 Bitcoin, and they saw almost $12 million in revenue just for that month. So as long as Bitcoin stays where it's at, and if they can mine somewhere around 700, and as one person did mention to me, of course, February is a shorter month, so they might see a decline in Bitcoin mined from January to February. So we'll have to see how that goes. But thank you for bringing that up. That's definitely a great point. But regardless of that, with the Bitcoin's price being around 24,000, we should still see an increase in revenue, even if we did see a slight decline in Bitcoin production month over month from January to February. But due to Bitcoin's price increase from January to February, throughout February, we have seen Bitcoin right around 24,000. I do expect their next monthly mining update to see a better revenue month over month compared to January, and that'll definitely help our next quarter coming up, and we may very well see this $43 million in revenue on our next quarter coming up. But what do you guys think about these 3 stocks? Let me know which one you're focused on and why. Thanks as always for the ongoing support. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day.